We start with Damon telling Elena that he wants to make her a vampire. He wants her to have power so she can be the queen of the dark and live with him forever. He wants her that badly. And why? He's only talked to her twice, and both times he was a huge jerk about it. I think he likes Elena just because he wants to annoy his brother.
Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review.
Damon tries to use his psychic powers on Elena, but her love for Stefan is so strong she resists. Damon gets angry and threatens he will make her his. Luckily, Damon isn't the only one with psychic powers. Bonnie can tell the future because she's descended from druids. It is super convenient that Elena's best friend can do this. Bonnie does a ceremony. She sees Stefan is cold in an enclosed space with water up to his neck. Also, death awaits Elena at the bridge. After a scary fake-out at the bridge, they realize Stefan is in a covered well. They pull him out to safety, but he's badly injured and almost dead. He needs immediate medical attention. Bonnie's sister is a nurse. Again, super convenient. While they get her, Elena forces Stefan to drink her blood and regain his strength. They have to be careful, because if he drinks too much, she'll be in the dangerous might turn into a vampire zone. Oh, so that's how vampires work. You have to drink a certain amount of vampire blood. At the same time, you lose an unspecified amount of your own blood. That seems kind of arbitrary and gross, but okay. The police question Stefan about Mr. Tanner's death last night. The fact that Stefan was also attacked and left for dead should be proof he's not the culprit. But the police aren't sure, and everyone at school thinks he did it. Carolyn and Elena get into a fight over Stefan. When Stefan asks what the fight was about, Elena immediately lies to him. When he calls her out on lying, she gets mad at him for it. I have a really hard time believing their relationship is true love forever, by the way. Stefan wonders if he should protect Elena by breaking up with her. She refuses to hear it, and they make out some more. Their new teacher is Alaric K. Saltzman, who's halfway flirty with the students. He invites them all to a private party at his house that night, and he even uses the "what's your sign" pickup line on Bonnie. If this was real life, Alaric would probably be arrested. While Elena is eating a breadstick, Damon appears. He starts eating the other end of the breadstick so his mouth can be close to hers, and it's just creepy and wrong. Elena realizes Damon is trying to bait Stefan into fighting with him, so everyone will think Stefan is a maniac. So Elena decides she's going to lie to Stefan about Damon from here on out. The idea is that she'll protect Stefan that way, but it's a terrible idea which is sure to cause problems. Stefan explains how vampires work. They can't cross running water. A plant called vervain makes you immune to their psychic powers. They can control the weather. Wow, I don't think I've ever heard that one before. I wonder why vampires don't abuse their powers to become the best weather reporters ever. Finally, vampires must be invited into a house before they can go inside. The invitation doesn't have to be verbal, and it doesn't have to come from somebody who lives in the house, and it's good forever. This seems like a huge loophole to me. What stops vampires from inviting each other into every house in the world? What stops them from using their psychic powers to force people to give invitations? Somebody puts a piece of paper in Elena's purse. It's from her stolen diary! The culprit leaves another diary piece on the school bulletin board just to torment her. Elena tells her friends that Damon is the murderer. Bonnie can't believe she kissed a killer. She kissed Damon? When did this happen? It must have happened at the party, but she was busy flirting with Alaric at the party, and I don't know. Maybe Bonnie is jealous of Elena's love triangle, so she started one of her own. Vicky returns to school. She seems dazed and has two strange episodes, neither of which I can describe without this video being flagged as inappropriate content. Elena realizes Damon is regularly feeding off of Vicky, and she's halfway under his control. He makes her do terrible things because he's a sicko. Elena spends the night at Bonnie's house. While she's asleep, Damon uses his psychic powers on her. He makes her open the window so he can break inside and drink her blood. Elena and her friends realize the diary thief has to be Carolyn. Carolyn and Tyler are working together. She's going to read Elena's diary in front of the whole town on Founders Day. Specifically, she'll read the part that makes Stefan look like an evil murderer, so he'll be humiliated and arrested. The stolen diary drama takes up the rest of the book. It's ridiculous because Stefan has psychic powers. It would take him 2 seconds to force Caroline to return the diary, but no, that would go against Elena's new policy of lying to her true love. Blech. Elena tries searching Caroline's house, but Caroline comes home unexpectedly. Elena hides on the balcony when Damon pulls her to the roof. He restates his desire to make her his vampire queen, and he offers to get the diary in exchange for an hour of blood-sucking. Elena responds by throwing herself off the roof. That's a no, by the way. Damon saves her from death and vows to drink her blood soon. I guess the other time he drank her blood didn't count. Damon tricks one of Elena's relatives into inviting him over for dinner. Now he has access to her house. He shows up in the middle of the night to feed on Elena, but Elena has cleverly fooled him. The house was remodeled at one point, so she's technically in a different house. He can't enter her bedroom, she's safe. I'm not sure that's how remodeling works, but Elena's victory is short-lived. Damon says, "Fine, if I can't eat you, I'm gonna attack your 4-year-old sister." Elena is forced to give in. She and Damon do the creepy mutual blood-sucking thing, but he deliberately holds back so she doesn't become a vampire. Elena confesses the truth to Stefan. Oh, not the truth about her being with his brother. No, she tells him about the stolen diary. The confession makes them feel so good, they decide to do the creepy mutual blood-sucking thing. Since she has Damon's blood inside her, that means Stefan is sucking his own brother's blood, and this is gross. Stefan deliberately holds back so she doesn't become a vampire. I guess he didn't notice she's already a half-vampire. Stefan proposes to Elena, which is romantic, but he does it with his dead girlfriend's ring, which is not romantic. Elena and her friends plot to steal the diary on Founders Day. Carolyn will have to put the diary down at some point because purses aren't allowed. This poor plan is foiled when it turns out Carolyn has a reticule, which is like a purse. Luckily, Damon switches diaries on Carolyn, and Judith and Elena get into a big fight over Damon. Elena runs away to the bridge, where death awaits her. She's attacked by a dark force and she dies in a car crash. A furious Stefan vows to avenge her. He and Damon begin a fight to the death, even though they're both already dead. That's when vampire Elena awakens. The end. Post-book follow-up. A lot more happens in this book compared to the previous one. That's because a good part of the last book was Stefan's backstory. Interesting, but it's all things from 500 years ago. This book mainly focuses on Elena and the present. Elena is more tolerable in this book than the last one, although she's still an awful person who throws multiple childish fits. She deliberately lies to her friends about what's going on. Granted, they probably wouldn't believe vampires, but she could try to be truthful. She also lies to Stefan the whole time and avoids him for most of the book, which completely undercuts the premise that they are true lovers that are soon going to be married. This book wants to have a vampire love triangle with Damon as Elena's second love interest. It's supposed to be the case that she just can't help but feel attracted to him, but it doesn't come across in the text. She doesn't seem attracted to him. Her back and forth dialogue with him is bland, not witty. The book should have gone with Damon as an irredeemable villain, because that works so much better than a possible love interest. Overall, it's better than the previous book. I thought the diary drama was drawn out, and the attempt at having a love triangle was a failure, but it's still an improvement. I give Vampire Diaries number 2, The Struggle, a 7 out of 10.